Hello and welcome to the Crucible. We are now at the quarter-final stage of the World Snooker Championship. There are 8 players left in the tournament. Of them, 4 have had the honour and privilege of lifting this, the most famous trophy in the sport. The other 4 still have hopes and dreams that this might yet be their year. All 4 matches have now had 1 session of table time, and this is how they all stand. Steve Davis now alongside me, alongside the trophy that he kind of made his during the 80s. Steve, let's deal with RonnieSullivan against Stuart Bingham first of all. Now, a lot of people were expecting RonnieSullivan to have the advantage, particularly because Stuart Bingham had a tough night last night.
Yeah, it didn't get off to fireworks, but Stuart Bingham continued his good form, and he's not scared of RonnieSullivan, went into a good lead. By the end of the session, I think Ronnie was pleased to get out 4-all. I think the standards probably will get better as the game goes on, but for the moment, there's a bit of jostling going on.
Yeah, at the end of it, ultimately, it's as you were at the start of the match. But you get the feeling that Stuart provided perhaps more of a challenge than a lot of people were expecting.
Yes, and also had a chance to really push on from 3-1, but failed to capitalise, and Ronnie got back into it very nicely. And in the end, Stuart was pleased to win the last frame of the session. But even so, I think is enough in the tank for Stuart Bingham to give Ronnie a hard match.
OK, well, another player who showed he had a bit in the tank, who also had a late night last night, was John Higgins, and he came back from a really precarious position against Kyron Wilson.
Yeah, he was like 4-0 down at the interval. It looked like he'd run his race, really, as if there wasn't anything left in that tank. But all of a sudden rallied after the interval, as so often changes a game, and started to sort of, kick-start the whole thing. And then 5-3 behind it, he'll have settled from that from 4-0 behind.
OK, well, that, of course, all happened this afternoon. We're now going to concentrate on what's coming up this evening. We're focusing on Judd Trump and Jack Jones. Here's what happened in their opening session.
Big test for Jack Jones, Dennis.
What a task he faces in Judd Trump here. What a start to this quarter-final. It's queuing beautifully.
Can't do better than get one chance and knock a century in. Wonderful shot.
That's a fabulous opening red.
69 on the track.
Very, very impressive from Jack Jones. He levels at 1 each.
Oh.
Very well played, Jack Jones. And all of a sudden, he's leading by 2 frames to 1. Wonderful shot.
Judd's under a bit of pressure here, early pressure. A fantastic 3 frames from Jack Jones.
That was the first slip-up.
He'll be feeling a little better now, Judd Trump. That was a lovely clearance from him. It's a wonderful effort, this, from Jack Jones. All of a sudden, the Welshman is back in the lead.
6. Is it going to be a double?
Is it there? Is it there? Judd Trump doubles the black. And the session finishes all square, 4 frames each.
A terrific double to finish off that session from Judd Trump to level it at 4-all. But Steve, few would have predicted when he won the first frame with a 110 break that he would then find himself 3-1 down at the mid-session interval.
Yeah, you never know how a session's going to pan out, but I think a lot of people thought that possibly this was going to be the most one-sided of the quarterfinals, wrongly, obviously. But the outsider of the event, Jack Jones, continues to impress. He certainly feels comfortable in the Crucible.
And it's amazing how he turned things around from the form he showed against Si Jiahui, which was a really scrappy game, to deliver that sort of performance in the first session.
Yeah, I think once you get to the quarterfinals and you start to really relax into it, as much as you can relax into it, it's business as usual every day. And some players benefit from just playing day after day and get stronger. And I think the second week of the Crucible Theatre, you start to see some of the names coming through, and you can start to identify who is the potential finalist or winner based on the fact they're rising through and their standards getting better.
2 appearances of the Crucible so far, 2 quarterfinals, maybe even better this year. A word about David Gilbert against Stephen Maguire. What an opening session from David Gilbert. Brilliant in the last frame to hold his nerve to win it on the black.
Astonishing from Dave Gilbert. I actually commentated on that. He was so fluent, so confident. Stephen Maguire had such a tough session. He wasn't playing badly at all, but he got the couple of frames he got cleared up upon. A few unlucky little nudges. His safety play could have been stronger, but all in all, Dave Gilbert looks superb. I think the only other person that's impressed me as much of the people I didn't know how they were playing was Kyron Wilson, who I think is in great form as well.
Dave Gilbert looks so relaxed. I don't know how aware you are of the music choice that he practices to, but it spans from the 80s to modern day.
Well, I mean, you know, what can you say? If he's practicing with music in the background, obviously he's not doing his job right. You shouldn't have any music when you're playing, when you're practicing. What's going on?
Well, it's working for him to this point, and hopefully it will carry on for him. Very important session coming up for Stephen Maguire to try and battle his way back into that match. The players are standing by, so it's time to head into the arena and join our MC, Rob Walker.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's less than a week until we crown this year's Kazoo World Snooker Champion. 4 winners, a runner-up, and 3 potential first-time finalists are doing battle for the legendary single-table setup here at the Crucible at last. We're edging towards the business end of this 17-day marathon, so sit back, relax, and savour every single second with us, live here in the great city of Sheffield. Please welcome a player who is 6 frames away from a second Crucible semi-final after a blistering start this morning. What a return to form and fitness for one of the most likeable guys on tour. He's lean, keen and ready to roll. He's Dave Gilbert. And his opponents, after beating 2 of the world's top 10, he's contesting his 4th quarter-final in 8 years. It was a tough old start this morning, and he will come out and give it absolutely everything tonight. As tenacious as he is talented, he's Stephen the Maverick Maguire. And now to a player who clearly loves it here. The first man in 25 years to make back-to-back quarters on his first 2 visits. What a brilliant start this morning against the world number 2. Always calm, always composed. The silent assassin, Jack Jones. And finally, what a double on the black this morning to take the last of the session and level. The 10-time quarter-finalist showed all his experience in frame 8. He is now the most decorated left-hander in history. Come on, Sheffield, give it up for the ace in the pack, Judd Trump.
Well, certainly to begin the evening, David Gilbert and Stephen Maguire will be on the red button, BBC iPlayer, website and app, while we concentrate